You're doing something normal. Working. Lying in bed. Scrolling your phone. And suddenly, a conversation from the past starts playing in your head. Something you said. Something you didn't say. Something they said that still hurts. You replay it again. And again. And again. Psychology says this isn't weakness. It's not obsession. It's the brain trying to finish something that emotionally never ended. Replaying old conversations is one of the most common signs of unresolved emotional processing. And the reason it happens goes much deeper than most people realize. Reason 1, your brain is searching for closure. The human brain hates unfinished emotional loops. When a conversation ends without clarity, validation, or resolution, the mind keeps returning to it, trying to rewrite the ending. Psychology calls this cognitive closure seeking. You replay conversations because you didn't feel heard. Your emotions were dismissed. You didn't get a chance to explain yourself. The ending felt unfair or abrupt. Your brain believes, if I understand it better, I'll feel better. So it replays the moment, hoping insight will create relief. But insight doesn't always bring closure. Acceptance does. Reason 2, you're trying to protect your self-worth. Many old conversations replay not because of the other person, but because of what they made you feel about yourself. Maybe you felt disrespected, small, misunderstood, rejected. Your mind replays the conversation asking, was I wrong? Did I say too much? Should I have defended myself? Why didn't I speak up? This is the brain's attempt to repair self-image. Psychologically, when self-worth is shaken, the mind revisits moments to restore a sense of dignity. You're not reliving the conversation. You're reliving the feeling. Reason 3, emotional memory is stronger than logic. The brain stores emotional experiences differently than factual ones. You may forget what you ate last week, but you remember exactly how a sentence made you feel years ago. That's because emotional memory is stored in the limbic system, not just the thinking brain. So when you feel lonely, you feel rejected, you feel emotionally unsafe, the brain activates similar emotional memories, including old conversations that carried the same feeling. It's not random. It's emotional pattern recognition. Your brain is saying, this feels familiar. Reason 4, you wish you had responded differently. One of the strongest reasons people replay conversations is delayed assertiveness. In the moment, you stayed quiet. You avoided conflict. You froze. You tried to keep peace. Later, when the nervous system relaxes, clarity arrives. Suddenly you know what you should have said, what boundary you should have set, what truth you should have spoken. So the brain replays the scene, inserting a stronger version of you. Psychologically, this is not regret. It's growth arriving after the moment has passed. Reason 5, your nervous system is still activated. If a conversation involved emotional threat, criticism, rejection, abandonment, humiliation, your nervous system may still be reacting. That's why old conversations replay more. At night. When you're alone. When you're emotionally tired. During these times, the nervous system lowers defenses, and stored emotional stress surfaces. The replay is not a thought problem. It's a regulation problem. Your body remembers before your mind lets go. Reason 6, you never felt emotionally validated. Validation doesn't mean agreement. It means being acknowledged. When someone ignores, minimizes, or invalidates your feelings, the emotional brain keeps returning to that moment seeking recognition. You replay conversations because you wanted understanding. You wanted empathy. You wanted acknowledgement. Psychology shows that unvalidated emotions stay active longer. The mind keeps saying, someone needs to understand this. Reason 7, you're attached to a different outcome. Sometimes you replay conversations because you're attached to a version of reality that didn't happen. A version where they understood you. They chose you. They apologized. They responded differently. The replay is the mind's attempt to rewrite emotional reality. But healing begins when you accept. What happened is information. Not a reflection of your worth. Not a failure of expression. Just information. Why replaying conversations feels worse at night? At night, distractions are gone. The nervous system slows. The emotional brain becomes louder. That's why old conversations feel heavier in silence. The mind isn't attacking you. It's asking for processing time. But processing doesn't mean replaying endlessly. It means understanding, feeling, and releasing. When replaying becomes emotional self-harm, there's a difference between reflection and rumination. Reflection brings clarity. Rumination brings pain. If replaying conversations increases anxiety, triggers self-blame, keeps you emotionally stuck, then the mind is no longer healing, it's protecting through repetition. Psychology shows that rumination is often linked to Unexpressed emotions. Suppressed anger. Unset boundaries. Not weakness. Unfinished emotional work. How to stop replaying old conversations, psychology-based. You don't stop replays by forcing your mind to be quiet. You stop them by giving the emotion what it needs. That might be writing what you never said, naming the feeling without judgment, accepting that clarity came late, not wrong, creating emotional closure without their participation. Closure is an internal decision, not a conversation. The most important realization. You replay old conversations not because you're stuck in the past, but because your emotional system learned something important there. Once the lesson is integrated, the replay loses power. The mind lets go when it feels safe to move forward. Message for you. Old conversations replay because you cared. You felt deeply. You wanted understanding. That's not weakness. That's emotional depth. Healing doesn't erase memory. It removes emotional charge. And one day, that conversation will pass through your mind. Without pain. That's how you know you've healed. If this video helped you understand your mind and emotional patterns, subscribe to Master Mindology for deep psychology-based emotional insight and healing content.